How's it going, you guys? It's Will here, and as you can see, I got another tier list for you guys. This video has been suggested in the comments before, and finally getting around to it because, hey, I thought it'd be a fun idea. As you can see, we have a Mothra design tier list. I wanted to make this video because Mothra has quite a few different looks herself. I think next to Godzilla, she probably has the most monster designs. So as you can see, I have every single iteration of Mothra on this list, including larva, as well as all of her adult forms. Or imago if you want to use the technical term. So yeah, this should be fun. As you can see, I organized them all in chronological order, starting with 1961 and ending with the 2019 Monsterverse Mothra. So I guess we'll go ahead and just get started. There's a lot to say, that's for sure. So starting with the OG Mothra larva from 1961's Mothra. The original Mothra larva I actually really liked. So one thing I didn't notice, I had to go back and watch the movie recently, was that the larva Mothras actually have colored eyes. You know, I thought it was the Heisei Mothra that had a colored eye and not the Showa. But no, the Showa Mothras actually have colored eyes, and the original Mothra larva has like a little faint blue for its eye, which I really liked. Plus I really love the detail in the face. OG Mothra larva, you gotta pay it some respect. So I want to put it in A. I will, but it's not a high A, it's a low A. The same will go for the original Mothra Imago. It's a classic, it's the design that started it all. Actually, no, wait, I'm gonna put these in the B rank because I actually like the slight modifications that they made for the Mothra in Mothra vs. Godzilla in 1964. They just made some slight tweaks to it, just made like the fur look a little more scruffy looking, and I don't know, they just did something about it, you know, because they had to make Mothra look bigger, because the original Mothra was bigger than Godzilla, so they just made these slight tweaks to the original prop, and I love how it looks in Mothra vs. Godzilla. The larvas are a little bit different in 1964's Mothra vs. Godzilla. They still have a colored eye, which is something I had to go back and rewatch. But the details in the face are slightly different. There's more creases, a little more detail. I mean, it's okay, but I prefer the 1961 larva. So those are in the C rank, unfortunately. But the solo Mothra larva that appeared in Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster, this is where Mothra's eye color for the larva changed from that little blue to this one now having like a slight red for its eye. But now the face detail in the Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster larva looks a lot better, so I'm gonna give it the B rank. I just think Mothra just looks a little bit better larva-wise in Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster. Now next here we have Mothra from her appearance in Rebirth Horror of the Deep, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster if you prefer that title. At this point, you know, Mothra the puppet's looking a little bad, it's looking a little rough and in shape. I've got to put it in the C rank because it's starting to look a little rough and beat up. Now moving on to the Mothra larva from Destroy All Monsters. It's very similar looking to the Mothra that we saw in Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster. Very similar body shape, similar in the face. However, the eye on this one is very distinctly red. You can definitely make it out. It was a little hard to make out in Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster, but this one is definitely a red color. Sometimes it appears glowing red, especially like in this picture. I mean, you didn't need the glowing red, but I don't want to put it in the B rank because that glowing just makes it feel a little bit off, so we'll put it in the C rank, unfortunately. Now, moving on to the Heisei era. Now, the Mothra larva from 92's Godzilla vs. Mothra, and yes, just Godzilla vs. Mothra. I swear to God, if someone calls the film Battle for Earth in the comments, I'll come at you. That's not a thing. Battle of Earth is not a thing, don't worry. It's not the original Japanese title. Now, the larva from 92 Godzilla vs. Mothra, it looks a little weird, okay? The skin's a little bit of a lighter color, and it just looks a little too smooth. And this is the Mothra larva that has the just little tiny black dot eyes. It's not my favorite Mothra larva, so I want to put it in the C rank, but part of me wants to put it in the D rank. You know what? I'll put it in the C rank, but it's a really low C rank, like a C minus. Now the Mothra, the adult, the Imago form, I actually really like. I've used nostalgia for this Mothra. It's the Mothra that I got introduced to. I love the redesign they gave Mothra. I love the new wing pattern and coloration. I guess my only little critique that I have about it is, I don't know, sometimes the way the fur looks, it looks a little too matted down. What I loved about the original Mothra was that it had like a more scruffy look. The fur was a little bit longer. The Heisei Mothra, it looks like when you take your fluffy dog to the barber and they shave its hair off. Yeah, it's just too matted down, the fur. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the B rank, because there's some Mothras that I like a lot more. So that's the 92 Mothra. I love the design, but it does have its flaws. Now, contrary to popular belief, the Mothra, the original Mothra that you see in 1996's Rebirth of Mothra, is not the same Mothra that you saw in 92's Godzilla vs. Mothra. They're not the same creature. No, Rebirth of Mothra takes place in its own timeline. It has its own continuity. It's not related to the Godzilla series. Even though the Mothras look identical, it's not the same Mothra. Now, unfortunately, the little tweaks and stuff that they made to the Mothra puppet for 96's Rebirth of Mothra, I personally do not like. They made Mothra's head a little bit wider. The eyes are changed in color. You know, 92's Mothra was like a nice light blue, whereas 96 Mothra has like this turquoise color. The antennas are a little bit thicker too. They have like more fur on the top. Kind of looks like a Q-tip. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of 96's original Mothra. I don't know, I think it's just the head. They made the head just look too wide. Yeah, not really a fan. Now, moving on to my favorite iteration of Mothra, which is Mothra Leo, who would then go on to carry the rest of the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy. The larva is like my favorite larva. You know, I love the work of the eyes. You know, like a nice, like kind of like teal color for the eyes. And this larva was a badass. He fired like this toxic web. He was able to fire beams. He was an epic larva. So he's going in the A rank. Actually, no, we'll put it in the B rank because it's a larva. So B rank, but high B rank, like B plus. And then he turns into his beautiful adult Imago form, the OG original Mothra Leo, with that greenish and orange wing coloration. Really beautiful. You know, this was the first male Mothra that we saw. You know, slight change of eye shape, differently shaped antennas, but I love it all. You know, I love the shape of the eyes. I love the antennas. My favorite Mothra. Now, the orange and green Mothra Leo would also be seen in Rebirth of Mothra 2, but then towards the end, he gets turned into the amazingly beautiful rainbow Mothra, and this is my favorite Mothra of all time, so much so that I had to hunt down the Bandai figure that is based on this version of the character, and that was a fun time. You can see that review, I have it in the description as well. Yeah, I just love this Mothra. It took all the awesome things from the original Mothra Leo, like keeping the eye shape, the antenna shape, the body shape, but then they recolored the wings to these amazing, beautiful rainbow colors, and it just looks incredible. Now, with this new rainbow power, he's able to transform into the powerful Aqua Mothra, who I definitely like. You know, it's definitely a cool redesign, you know, because he has to be able to transform in order to go underwater to defeat the Garla. See, Mothra Leo, he's like the Goku of Mothras because he has so many transformations. The Aqua Mothra design, I do like, but I'm going to put it in the B rank because, you know, it's just a form he uses very briefly in the films. But it's definitely really cool. I love the longer antennas and how the wings change, as well as the shape of the body. I don't know why his eyes changed from green to blue, though. So, now, Rebirth of Mothra 3 changes the game, you know? I don't know why they redesigned the Rainbow Mothra from 1997's Rebirth of Mothra 2. He's not really rainbow in this form. His coloration's like a lot of purple, blues, and orange. Looks kind of like a sky sunset. I don't know why they changed his colors. You know, it's not like after he transformed to Aqua Mothra, he turned into this form from Rebirth of Mothra 3. No, after he was Aqua Mothra in Rebirth of Mothra 2, he went back to the Rainbow Mothra with the green eyes. So don't know why they changed his design, but it's not a bad design by all means, you know. But it's definitely not my favorite, so I will put it in the B rank. Don't know why they changed his design. He looks like a totally different character. Now this form, it's cut off the picture, but this is his light speed form, it's a pure CGI model. You know, you see in Rebirth of Mothra 3, you see Leo transform into his aqua form, and then he transforms into this CGI model. It's really bad looking, so it's terrible. So then, up next we have this larva armored Mothra. So after Leo goes back to the past and defeats the younger King Ghidorah, Cretaceous King Ghidorah, he falls to the ground, he's wounded, but then these two prehistoric armored Mothras come out and they bury his body in their own webbing. These Mothras, can't really say much on them because they're only on screen briefly. The armored plating's cool, but you only see them briefly, so I don't really see it fair to rank these higher. So then, because these armored Mothras put Leo in their webbing, he then, in the present day, transforms into this amazing and beautiful armored Mothra. This is pretty much a beefed up version of the original Mothra design that you saw in the beginning of Rebirth of Mothra 3. And he just looks so cool with the body shape, his head shape, everything basically gets a buff, okay? And he's just a badass, you know. He one-shots Grand King Ghidorah, you know. He toys with him for a little bit, and then he decides it's time to finish the job. And then he just flies right through him, obliterating King Ghidorah. It is awesome. And then, after the battle is over, Leo sheds his armor and then transforms into the even more beautiful Eternal Mothra. Basically, he keeps the same shape, everything the same shape from the armored form. Everything's the same except Leo sheds his armor, and then you get to see him in all his glory with the fur, the new wing shape, and the wing coloration. It's a beautiful form. I wish we could have seen it a little bit more in the film because it only appears at the very end, but it made an impact, you know. Mothra Leo, his final form, I really like. I wish we could have seen more of it. Hell, I wish we could have even gotten a figure of it, but unfortunately, not a thing. Alright, now that we're done with the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, I know I talked about them a lot, but I really love that trilogy. So now moving on to the 2001 GMK Mothra. Now for the Showa form, the Showa GMK Mothra really reminded me of the Showa Mothra larvas, especially the ones from Godzilla vs. Mothra, or Mothra vs. Godzilla from 64. It paid a good tribute, so we will give it a... You know what, since it reminds us of the 64 Mothra vs. Godzilla, we'll rank it the same. However, the Mothra from the adult Mothra, the Imago from GMK, looks badass, okay? It looks awesome. You know, they gave Mothra a great upgrade for GMK, you know? The one thing I love is her antennas, you know? The way they're shaped and the way the eyes are shaped just makes this Mothra look pissed off all the time. Plus, the way the fur looks, you know, it doesn't look like that matted down, shaved dog kind of look from 92. I don't know what they did. She just looks so much more cool in GMK, you know, but I really just love the eyes of this Mothra. Really badass. She just looks pissed off all the time. Alright, moving on to 2003's Tokyo S.O.S. Now, we first see the adult Mothra, and this adult Mothra from Tokyo S.O.S. paid a lot of tribute to the Showa Mothra. Like, this looks like a modern day Showa Mothra, and for that, I love it. So it's gonna go in the S rank as well. It's just a real cool design. You know, it really paid tribute to the Showa, and you know, that is just awesome. Now, the 2003 larvas from Tokyo S.O.S. This is the first time we've seen twin Mothra larvas since 1964's Mothra vs. Godzilla. And they look really good. Like, this really reminds me of the Showa original 1961 Mothra larvas. You know, the way they did with the eyes, the face. Looks really good. This is probably going to be the... You know what? It's a larva, so I can't put the larvas higher. So we're going to put them in a B. I just feel like it's unfair to put the larvas higher than the B ranks. But if I had to, I would definitely put, you know what, screw it, we're gonna put Leo in the A rank, and then we're gonna put the twins from Tokyo S.O.S. in the A rank as well. There, we put some larvas higher up. Now, the Mothra from Final Wars is essentially the same as Tokyo S.O.S. They're the same puppet design, but I don't know, just the lighting that was used, just, I don't know, the way you see Mothra in Final Wars, not really, I don't know, it doesn't have the same impact as Tokyo S.O.S, so we'll put it in the A rank. You know, they're the same design, yes, but just the way you see them in the films, I just prefer how Mothra looked in Tokyo S.O.S. Just, it was shot a lot better. Alright guys, moving on to the final 2. These final 4 down here, I honestly don't know what they are, so we're not going to rank them. But here we have the larva from the 2019 Godzilla King of the Monsters. I wasn't really a fan of the larva form that much, but I did really like the adult Mothra that we got to see. This really gave me flashbacks to this 1998 Mothra Leo. Just, you know, the shape of the eyes and the shape of the head. The wing pattern was a totally new design. You know, it looked like a really realistic moth wing pattern. The one thing that threw me off about this Mothra, and the one thing that still does, is just the way the legs are. They're like way too long. Kind of looks like a praying mantis. But the design is growing on me, that's for sure. But alright guys, this has been my ranking of all of the Mothra designs. As you can see, I'm a big fan of the Mothra Leo from the Rebirth of Mothra Trilogy. But, you know, I try to be fair. I gave my reasons to why I rank things, you know, in certain places. So guys, let me guys know what your own Mothra rankings are. I'll leave this tier list in the description down below in case you guys want to make your own. You can send it to me. Yeah, this should be fun. Alright guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me as well, you know, because I was recovering from COVID, so videos were they were an afterthought, but I'm trying to get back into it. But alright guys, I'll see you later. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, I appreciate you guys always.